Hey friends, welcome back to the homestead. It is an absolutely gorgeous day, beautiful day to be working outside, so I figured today we'd work on building some chicken tractors. We've got a whole bunch of meat chickens that we ordered and they're in the brooder right now, growing up and getting big and healthy and strong, but it's about time for them to move outside and start scratching around in the grass, eating bugs and all those good little things that kind of help add some variety and nutrient to our homegrown chicken. We've got some beautiful cedar lumber that we milled up with the chainsaw, and now what we're doing is we're just gonna rip it down with the table saw into dimensional lumber. That way we can build our chicken tractors out of that.
I got this idea for a chicken tractor from a guy named Joel Salatin at Polyface Farms. He raises a lot of pasture broiler meat chickens for commercial purposes and does it really well and on a very large scale. If you're not familiar with the concept of a chicken tractor, it's simply a movable shelter that allows chickens to pasture graze in a secure enclosure, and you just move it every day to a new patch of grass. Joel hates it when people change his plans for a chicken tractor, but honestly, I needed something that would work for my homestead on a much smaller scale, with fewer birds, smaller pasture, and something that could be easily transportable. I came up with a design that would fit in the back of my pickup truck, with the capacity to hold about 10 to 12 broiler chickens, and that was light enough that my wife or kids could easily move it around the yard.
All right, so I think we got all the cuts we need for the basic frame of the chicken tractor. These are going to be 1.5 by 1.5 inches, and they're going to be used for the top frame and the side supports. And these guys are 1.5 by like 3 1/4, and these are going to be the base, a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker to keep it firmly planted on the ground. Now you can use dimensional lumber for all this. You don't have to go and rough cut your own. This would just be replaced with a 2x2 and this with a 2x4 or 2x3, whichever you prefer. But let's go ahead and lay this out on the porch over here and we'll try to get it all tacked together and then framed up and put some chicken wire on it. This is going to be the general shape of everything. Our short boards will go on the outside of our long boards, and that'll give us a total overall length of 6 feet 4.5 inches, and then a total width of 4 feet. And that way it'll fit nicely in the bed of my truck and give plenty of room for the chickens to grow. So this is the bottom. We'll tack it up just using my cheap little Amazon air nailer. Built more projects with this thing than I'd expect. It's worked out really well. One thing you want to do, especially with rustic builds like this, is orient the direction or the curve of your boards so it's going to best suit your needs. I don't want this rocking back and forth, so I'll put any kind of bows on the top. That way it'll sit firmly on the ground. Okay, now we got the bottom and the top framed up. Now I want to put a cross support in the middle of the top. That way it'll give something for the chicken wire. That's what it is. The chicken wire fence to attach to, maybe not sag so much. And we might have to put a couple more little pieces where it's going to be on the top. And then I've got to figure out something to do for a door and maybe a little roof area where they can get out of the weather. see if we can make sure that this is relatively squared. About 80. About 80.
80 what?
Inches.
Oh, I see.
All right, friends, that looks like a frame of a chicken tractor. It's still fairly light, easy to pick up, so we'll be able to pick it up, drag it to wherever we need to drag it to in the next part of the yard. Yeah, I think that'll work really well. I'm liking that. Let's find some chicken wire. Sometimes this chicken wire can be difficult to deal with. It's kind of wiry, but usually what I find works well is if you can just tack one long side and then cut it to length, stretch it to where you need it so it's nice and tight, and then tack the other side and then tack the middle. That usually works well for me, or at least it has in the past. Now to tack this all down, I'm just using a T50 stapler with 3/8 inch staples. And I'm actually going pretty aggressive, tacking about every 2 to 3 inches. Since this is the bottom, I don't want anything kind of trying to crawl up underneath it and get to my chickens. All right, so now that we've got this stretched all the way across the bottom, we'll just cut this end off and then cut it down the middle, use that for the other side. So this should be 48 inches. This is 24 inches, so fingers crossed we'll have enough. It's not a very thick gauge wire, so it goes pretty easy. But you gotta watch out for these little tips. So you scrape your hand across that, that'll cut you pretty good. So this is just some plywood siding that I had laying around, extra. So cut one piece that's gonna be for the top, and then this piece is gonna go on this end, offer some kind of protection from the elements for them. Might need one more support here in the middle. now I need to see what I have for hinges. We can attach this guy, put the hinges on this whole part, and that way it'll just open up just like that. Be able to feed them, water them, make them all happy. Close it back up, protect them from predators. So what I did is ended up just cutting a small little 2-3 inch piece, and this will overlap halfway across that support, and then these hinges can just go screw right onto there and there, and that should give us a good hinged point for the door. All right, got us another little piece of 2x2 here, cut down to 44.5 inches. So we'll just kind of center it on here. Tell you what, let's make this a little bit easier on ourselves. I present to you the chicken tractor. The subcompact chicken tractor. I think that's what I'll call it. The subcompact chicken tractor. Okay, friends, well, there we got our subcompact chicken tractor. I'm super happy with how it turned out. Kind of taking inspiration from Joel Salatin's larger ones, but just shrunk it down, make it a little bit more useful for our purposes. We didn't end up having to go to the store. We just used everything that was here on the homestead. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm happy with how it turned out. I think the chickens will like it as well. We're gonna give them one more night in their chicken house, in the chicken coop, and we'll put them in tomorrow morning, see how they like it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video informative or entertaining at all, please hit the thumbs up, let me know that you liked it. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, see more of what we have going on here on the homestead. We'll see you guys on the next video. All right. All right, little chickens. Here we go. All right, little chickies. Are you happy now?